Fantastic. You can only play who's in front of you. Not the greatest teams on the planet, but you can only play the teams that are in front of you. And they're out to a great start. And this is the first quarter poll of the season. The first 4 games. And they've done everything. Welcome aboard National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills. Welcome to the only reality TV show that gives you the skinny on what things really are. Okay? We speak the truth here. We don't talk, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Hey, it is. 4-0 start for the Eagles, man. Fantastic. You can only play who's in front of you. Not the greatest teams on the planet, but you can only play the teams that are in front of you. And they're out to a great start. And this is the first quarter poll of the season. The first 4 games. And they've done everything that is needed. And that is the most important thing, winning. You're 4-0. That's all you look at. This is not college football where you have to have a beauty pageant to look good each and every single week. It's not. You get the win. It could be 2-0. No one cares in the NFL. Get the win. Get the win. And that's where the Eagles are sitting at 4-0. Now, again, I look at who they've played. 5-9 total when it comes to the one-loss record that they've played. Not the standard bearing teams and the gold standard teams in the NFL. But again, it's not like a Buffalo Bills schedule, but they've beaten the teams that were put in front of them. Okay? LT goes, why do you feel a butt coming? Because keep it in reality here. I want to give you my takeaways first. 29-21. I thought the game would be close. I said 30-26. I thought the game would be close, and it was. Here are my takeaways. And by the way, I'll get to all of you. I promise. I ain't singing shit. I predicted you'd win. I'll get to all of your guys. Trust me when I tell you. It's a great team win. You're down 14. You never knew how this team would respond because they haven't been behind. They rallied back. They won. It was a great team win. That's a team win, okay? That's a great team win. You're down, bad weather, emotional, Doug Pederson coming home. Fantastic. That's exactly how you want to have your football team tested because you know what? You can't win the Super Bowl in September and in the first month of the season. You can lose it, though. And you've now started to prepare yourself for muscle memory. Being ahead in games, having to come from behind. This football team is starting to build up a library of different ways of winning football games. That's a good thing. You're preparing for December and January here, okay? It's a tough game to evaluate. So to sit here and have an evaluation on Jalen or some of the other players on the team, man, bad weather always, puts it like an asterisk on how you look at guys. Like the pick he threw, that's not a big deal. He's had one pass that was a bad pass in 4 games. Bad decision. I'm not holding anything against him. Okay, it's a weather game. And anytime you're in a weather game, you got to play in bad weather. I get it. I'm not saying that or giving him an excuse, but shit like that happens. So, again, Jalen Hurts, I thought he played, once again, as good as you possibly can play when it comes to the weather conditions and the emotions, the whole thing, getting to 4-0. I thought some of the coaching judgments in that game for the Eagles were questionable. You end up giving the ball back late because you go for it on 4th down. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers send your asses home with a stupid move like that. Okay? They send your ass home when you do something like that. Okay? You need to also look at the coaching issues. And I would say this one time too, and I happen to have watched the the post-game show with Seth, and I happen to agree with Seth on Jonathan Gannon. I think Jonathan Gannon is still a decent and fair defensive coordinator. I don't think he's exceptional at all. I don't think he's creative at all. I think he's really getting great player production. How many people think Butch Davis is a great defensive coordinator? He won a Super Bowl. He was a DC with the Dallas Cowboys. Would you consider Butch a great coach? I played for Butch. Butch is a great D-line coach and a pretty decent college football coach. But as a defensive coordinator, he's got a ring. Dave Campo was a D coordinator in Dallas. I mean, he's a product of his players playing well. Nothing more. What did they blitz 4 or 5 times? I don't look at him and go like this. Jonathan Gannon is a great defensive coordinator. Sorry. His players are stepping up. He's a product of good players right now, which most coaches are. But I don't look at him and go, that's Jim Johnson 2.0, or that's Buddy. I still think the guy's soft, and I wouldn't want to play for him. I'd like to play for that group and in that huddle. But he's nothing. If I were a free agent, that would make me want to come and play for him. Miles Sanders was spectacular. He was spectacular. Okay? He was the star of the ball game. What a great football. We'll talk more about him. By the way, he's a free agent. And do you know that Miles Sanders right now is on pace for 1,513 yards? And you're going to let that guy walk out the building if he ends up having between 13 and 1,500 yards? Wow. Okay, Howie. Someone's got to go at the end of the year. Sayamalo, I thought he was playing great before he got hurt. The Mulata injury, too. Now you're starting to see the war of attrition start to hit the Eagles a little bit. We'll talk more about that as well. Hassan Reddick. It's about time you got off the bus, kid. It's about time you got off the bus. Shit, been waiting for you. Only took you to your 4th game. Way to go, kid. They needed you. You stepped up. You did your job. Congratulations. Now let's be consistent and not go the next 3 games dormant, and let's be an impact. In my opinion, great. Fantastic. One game. I'll tell you what, I'll give him a game and a half. Game and a half out of 4. I don't know if that's $15 million. Okay? I don't have to sing anything, Paul. I said the Eagles would win. I would say this to you, like I said, the injuries, this is some of my takeaways. The injuries now are starting to pile up a little bit. Okay? They're starting to pile up a bit. And once again, I'll get back to what I said in the open. Combined record for the teams the Eagles have beat are 5-9. I don't know. If you're talking to Dallas Cowboys and their 3-1 record is fool's gold, they play the same schedule that the Eagles play. They play lesser teams. Like everybody in the media is getting all excited about what Cooper Rush did to Washington. Washington is terrible. If you watch them versus Dallas, they were even worse. I thought the Eagles beat them up more. But I look at Dallas's 3-1 record and I go like this. I don't know. Am I really that impressed? I look at the teams that are in the AFC that are 3-1. Those guys play legitimate football teams each and every single week and contenders every week. How about this? Who's the biggest win? Let me say this to you also about Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence's biggest win versus another team and another star quarterback is Justin Herbert. Who's Jalen's biggest opponent when it comes to facing an opposing quarterback? Kirk Cousins? That's his biggest win? I mean, Trevor Lawrence was a turnover machine. And that was because of what the Eagles did in that football game. But let's be candid here. How many and Doug Pederson's play calling in the rain, throwing the ball like that? Dude, what were you thinking? You were not prepared to play in that inclement weather like that. The Eagles were. Nick Sirianni outcoached Doug Pederson in that football game, in my opinion. They outcoached him because the mistakes that they made, they had 5 turnovers in the ball game. They were prepared to play. I thought the Eagles were much better prepared to play in that weather than what Jacksonville was. You're throwing the football. Your receivers were dropping them left and right. They were like drop machines. You needed to run the ball, and that's exactly what the Eagles did. By the numbers here even. Look at the first downs, 25-13. Here's something that is the most significant factor in the game here and why the Eagles really were able to end up winning this game and really, moving ahead and dominating them late, especially in the second quarter. They ran 77 plays to 46 plays. Okay? I mean, it's almost 2-1. The amount of plays that the Eagles ran against them. Total yards, another 400-yard week. Good for them, man. That's the way to get the offense moving in shitty weather like that. It held another team to under 275 yards in total offense, 219. That's pretty damn good, man. Ran the ball 210 yards to 71. Good. Turnovers 5-1. That's how you win ball games right there. Quarterback stats. Trevor Lawrence, 11-23, 174, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He was all over the joint. Did not think that they had a good game plan for him. And by the way, ball security, kid, when you're running in the rain, 2 hands. Let's go. That's a coaching error. Okay? I thought the Jags were the Eagles' biggest test. They were, but they're the Jags. They're 2-2. They are. There's nobody on the schedule that I would say maybe the Vikings are a playoff team. The Jags in the AFC, okay, let's see if they are a playoff team. I think there's one playoff team they've played, the Vikings. The rest of them, they're not playoff teams. Lions are 1-3 again. Travis Etienne, 8 carries, 32 yards. They've really done a nice job against the run. Miles Sanders, 27 carries, 134, 5 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Outstanding. I think he's the 3rd leading rusher in the NFC right now. Christian Kirk, dude, catch the football. 2 catches, 60 yards. And A.J. Brown, 5 catches for 95 yards. There's no doubt when you look at the stats and you look at the targets, A.J. Brown has clearly become Jalen Hurts' number 1 target. So I would say to you again, it's a tough game to evaluate because of the weather. Okay, it is. You can't look at Jalen's numbers, 16-35, 204, a pick. I mean, he got the win. There's no criticism at all in this game over Jalen and his performance. He made plays that he had to make. He made throws to keep drives going. That was a great team win. I mean, nothing more, nothing less. I wouldn't put an evaluation in that game and that pick, having only thrown a pick in that game and no touchdown passes. I wouldn't say anything negative at all about Jalen Hurts in this ball game. I wouldn't. Steven, apologize? No, he should apologize for us for stealing money at the beginning of the year. About time he got off the bus. Okay? About time. Look at 85. Devin Lloyd stinks. He was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Month. He stinks. Nice evaluation, kid. On to the Cardinals. Hey, Sills, you said you wouldn't do that. Talk about the schedule. I knew people will make an excuse. But okay, GT, you think they've played a quality schedule? You think they've played quality teams like the Bills and the Chiefs? You think they've played quality teams? Do you think they've played quality teams? I think the Jags are a quality team. I think the Vikings are a quality team. Okay? But they've played one potential playoff team so far. As a matter of fact, they haven't played a team that made the playoffs last year even. And I would make the point to you, they haven't played a team that's made the playoffs in the last 2 years. So, I mean, you're coming up to the Cardinals. This will be an interesting ball game. Do I think they're better? Who has? Xavier makes a great point. Xavier goes like this. Who has played a quality schedule? Okay. You know what? I should have wrote that down. Kansas City Chiefs 2022 schedule. Let's just use the Chiefs. Let's just use the Kansas City Chiefs as a team in a schedule. This is who they've opened against. Arizona, who you're playing this weekend, was a playoff team a year ago. The Chargers, the Colts, who were 9-8 last year, the Buccaneers. Let's take a look at the Bills. They just played the Bucs. You've not played anybody on your schedule near the Bucs. Not near them. Buffalo Bills 2022 schedule. Let's take a look at that.
The Bills will play the Steelers at New Era.
Let's take a look at their schedule, who the Bills have played out of the gate. Played the world champion Rams, and they beat them. They played Tennessee, who was the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. They played the Dolphins, who are now 3-1. They played Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. And they got Kansas City next. That's a schedule, my friends. Far cry from what you've played. Far cry. Sills this morning, this guy was talking about giving Jalen a fine B because, dude, I thought Jalen got an A in that game. It's bad weather. It's bad weather. Impossible to evaluate anybody when you got weather like that. There is absolutely no way I would give Jalen anything of a poor grade. He won the ball game, and it's absolute pathetic weather. Okay? Sills, it's starting to sound like Hater Dan. No, Realist Dan. Sileo was completely wrong about Reddick. Over one game? About time you think he's played $15 million worth of effort? Wow. You really don't have to be a really good player on your team, huh, Dominique? That's not hey, dude, that's not a football player that plays like Micah Parsons. $15 million? Absolutely not. Oh, yeah. Hey, congratulations. About time you got off the bus. About time he got off the bus. Dude, I would not want Hassan Reddick on my team as my edge rusher, my number 1 edge rusher. Absolutely not. Okay? I wouldn't. There's about 10 edge rushers I would take, 10, 15 edge rushers I would take over his ass. I would take a 36-year-old Von Miller over him, 37, whatever he is. Okay? Let me go into my topics now. Hassan Reddick. Hey, thanks for getting off the bus. It's an absolute about time you got off the bus. Oh, hey, look at Auto Service. So Auto, you think that you think Reddick is as good because he's got numbers. He's as good as Micah Parsons. Wow. So would you take Hassan Reddick over the kid in Washington, Chase Young? Let me see. You guys are idiots. Some of you. Dude, Hassan Reddick is probably the 4th best edge rusher in the he's not better than Thibodeau. Watch this. I would take Chase Young, Micah Parsons, and Kayvon Thibodeau over him. Any day. Okay, Davey boy, you stick with your boy. Be on his 4th team by next year. Okay, since we've talked about this, let's do this. The Eagles have played teams that have a combined record of 5-9. Can you really be impressed with what they've done? Yes or no? First 4 weeks of the season, and it's a quarter poll. Are you impressed with what they've done? They're undefeated. I'm surprised. I wouldn't say impressed. I'm surprised. Okay? I'm surprised. Yes? Okay? Coop says yes. You're impressed. What's the most impressive thing that the Eagles have done in the first 4 weeks? What's been the most impressive? I'd like to know. The fact the Eagles have dominated large portions of every game so far says more about the Eagles than any other team that they've played. Great take, Ron. Great take. I'm impressed with how they went. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I'm impressed with the way that they have won ball games, different styles. They're able to win games running it. They have to throw it. That's a tough team to defend. That's the one thing that I'm impressed with, is that they could play to what their opponent's weakness is. If a team can't stop the run, remember what I told you on Friday? Run the ball, dude. Jacksonville, run the ball right at them. You're going to be in bad weather, run the ball. And they did. They dominated, and they took that team apart, basically running the ball for another 200-yard performance. Very good. 400 total yards in every game, Matthew, is exceptional. And when you're able to put 400 yards up in bad weather like that, very good. We don't need you to be impressed. Okay. Sorry, Solo. Okay, I asked you, donkey. Reddick is solid when his defensive coordinator's using him to his strengths. Well, it took him the entire time in the first quarter poll. Like we said, and I'll keep saying it, about time you got off the bus. What schedule were you looking at when you said, because I didn't think that Jalen would have this much improvement, and I didn't like the way the team was prepared. That's why I said it. And because I went with the way that they prepared the team last year. I'm impressed that they haven't pissed me off yet enough to throw my phone to the window, says Kyle. Yes, right there. I have to acknowledge what Mike is saying here. Mike, Fletcher Cox is playing well. Really well. Fletcher looks really good. Okay? Really good. I have been impressed with, of all the guys in the middle there. By the way, TJ Edwards is spectacular. He is everywhere. He's also a free agent at the end of the year. No, I think Fletcher, outside of just the Lions game, Dank, I would say outside of the Lions game, when they ran the ball very well against that front, I'd say for the last 3 games, I think that Fletcher's played well. Okay? And you know what, though, Philly? I don't really think the offensive line outside of Lane, I don't think they were super happy with that performance. Okay? But then again, dude, it's a bad weather game. And when you're in bad weather games like that, it's tough to evaluate guys. The Mulata injury concerns me, and so does Slade being banged up the last couple weeks. That concerns me, okay? That concerns me a little bit here. But no, when you go down the list, Miles Sanders, man. Here, Miles Sanders, 72 carries, 356 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's averaging 4.9 a carry. What a stud he's been. His first 4 games, this guy's playing, in my opinion, he's playing for an audition for someone else. The Eagles are not going to sign him, and nor is he going to stay in Philly. He's not going to take a haircut if he gains 1,500 yards and makes the Pro Bowl. He's not going to stay for $3 million. That's not happening. You got Sam Malo, who's a free agent. You got TJ Edwards, who's a free agent. You think they're going to stay in Philly because why? They want to make less money? You don't have Tom Brady as your quarterback or Aaron Rodgers. You don't know how this thing's going to play out. You better get the money you get right now. If we make the chip, we get a choice between the Bills and Chiefs. Give me the Bills. I want no parts of Andy and Mahomes. They made the Bucs look foolish. We'll talk about week 4 of the NFL. I never thought the Bucs were in that game. As much as people were saying that Brady played well, they did. I think the Bucs are going to be okay, but Andy and Mahomes, they're just on a different level right now. They really are. That Chiefs team's the best team in the league. That Chiefs team's the best team in the league. You're not beating that quarterback. And by the way, with a bullshit decision on 4th down late in the game, Mahomes takes your ass out and beats you. You're not doing that to him. Giving him the ball back late in the game to tie it. Yeah, right. Okay. Not happening. The Chiefs look good. Here. I would still say this, though, that the Eagles compared to the Chiefs after the first 4 games, I still think the Eagles have a deeper roster than KC. We still have to wait and see how this thing still plays out. Okay? Because injuries are going to be a factor everywhere in the league. Everywhere. And I want to see what these teams look like. Look at Buffalo and what Buffalo's lost in their secondary. That's not the same football team that played that Rams team in the opener. So we still have to wait and see how this thing plays out here. Okay? We have to wait and see because the war of attrition is going to play an issue. Okay? The war of attrition is going to play a factor here. I thought Doug Pederson had poor play calling in this game offensively. That was not a good game plan by him. I think Doug completely got out-coached by Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff. Throwing the ball in the rain like that. And you saw what the receivers were doing. There were tip passes everywhere. Lawrence couldn't even hold it when he was on a sprint out. And you're throwing it? Why? You had 2 running backs that were considered 2 of the best tandems in the NFL, and you thought to throw it? Why? Poor game planning. I didn't think they were really focused on how to beat them, and yet they stayed close. Don't do that. I'm all over. Dude, Josh Allen is a great player. I just said right now the Chiefs look like the best team. Jesus criminy. It's 4 games in. Hang in there. Okay? Hang in there. Richard goes, Dan, why are you such a hater? Hater? No. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I see. And you don't like that. Most people don't. Most people want to be told things so it fits their ego and fits what they want to feel. I don't do that. I don't. And I'm sorry you don't like that, but I'm a person that tells you what I see. I'm an observationist, not just a sports talk guy. I'm an observationist, okay? I'm a person that sees things, and if you don't like what I see, that's a you thing, not me, okay? And for the record, I think Trevor Lawrence, that was a tough ball game for him. He'll get better. Still a fine talent. Still a fine talent. Fine talent. Got a great future ahead of him, especially with Doug around him. Barely admit when you're wrong. You deflect and make excuses. I don't deflect or make any excuses for anything in my life. That's why some of the things in my career have happened. I wish I had done that and been a bullshit artist. I wish that I was an angler. I wish I could lie to you. I wish I could lie to people, but I can't. So if you don't like it, it's too bad, dude. Or, ma'am. If Hurts had that game, Sills, if I still wouldn't. It's a weather game. I told you at the top, I thought Jalen played well. He made throws in the rain. He made plays in the rain. He did what I thought that was an A ball game. Some of you are probably thinking I think that was an A game. In weather like that, motions like that, he did what it took to win the game. Everything's not going to be 70% completion percentage in this league. Every game's not going to be 330 yards passing. You got to win ball games like that in the NFL. And they did. That's what I saw. That was my takeaway. They won a ball game. Doug comes home. The weather was awful. A lot of distractions in that ball game. They were down 14. I have no issues. None. Some of the play calling on both ends, then again, it's weather, man. Okay? And it's harder. It's hard to go like this. Well, Jalen didn't get his foot back, and he didn't have proper technique on that throw. Yeah, well, shit, man. They had a torrential downpour going on. You're not going to get a great performance from anybody except Miles Sanders, who was great, and the guy who decided to get off the bus, Hassan Reddick. Congratulations to you. He got off the bus finally. And instead of falling back on your wallet, you fell on a quarterback. Way to go, dude. About time. Hey, congratulations for not robbing a bank. Jesse James, when he robbed banks, used a gun. This guy was just using his helmet for the first 3 weeks. Congratulations to you, kid. You finally went in and did your job. You don't get kudos for that. It's why you're brought here. Hey, did you see him, Sileo? I'm like, well, I hadn't. He's been on a milk carton. His face has been on a milk carton for 3 weeks. And he shows up. Congratulations, kid. Way to go. I guess. Reddick is the dude. Yeah. That guy needs about 100 more bricks in his pocket and about 2 more Tokyo phone books to stand on, too. No, he looks good out there. Oh, man. 3.5 sacks. Oh, hey, man. That's like telling me I would take Jalen over Josh Allen because he's got better stats and Patrick Mahomes. Do you understand that when you say that, how idiotic that sounds? That I would rather take Jalen over Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes because he's got better statistical numbers. Use your eyeball test. Use your eyeball. I think Hardgrave and Cox, both of them, I think they've played really well. I think the last 3 weeks they've played well. I mean it. That triangle and TJ, hey, look, the triangle with the 2 tackles and TJ there, whew, dude, that's your heart and soul of your defense right now. You are killing it. Okay? You are killing it there. Who's Dan Bayless? And we got 2 first-rounders to continue the build around QB1. You keep building around QB1, excuse me. Leave Lamar Jackson out of that group. Why? He's a legend. And plus, he's a consensus All-American or MVP. What are you talking about? You crazy, man? Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. There's only one guy that's had a unanimous MVP in NFL history. It's Lamar Jackson. Are you kidding me? Dude, TJ's killing it. That kid, for the money they pay him and for the job that he does, he is a force. If I had to pick Pro Bowlers after the first 4 weeks of the season, I would say this. Here's your Pro Bowlers. Let me do this. If I had to pick Pro Bowlers on the Eagles right now, I would start with Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce. You see Kelce playing and how good he blocked? Wow. Dude, Jason Kelce. Let me say this to you, man. He gives me goosebumps. Jason Kelce, in my opinion, is the best center that I've seen in the NFL since Bruce Matthews. Okay? He is the best center. He's better than Kevin Mawai. Okay? He's the best center I've seen since Bruce Matthews. And Bruce Matthews was like 6'5", 325. I mean, he was Bruce Matthews was all pro at guard, tackle, and center. No player's ever done that. And he was a hell of a player at all three of those positions. Kelsey's the best center I've seen in 20 years. That's a fact. Stepnoski, better than him, better than Ray Donaldson. Yeah, man, he is a force of nature. First ballot Hall of Famer. When I put the list together for the Hall of Fame voters, Jason Kelsey, I'm going to make sure every single thing that guy's ever done is on the sheet that I hand to all the voters. I'm part of the group. There's like 10 of us that put all the statistical things together for the nominations every year. Then I get asked who I like of 5 guys. Kelsey's going to be on my list for sure. What a football player. What an amazing, amazing career he's had. I thought the whole thing with Doug and the jacket was fantastic as well. What an inspiration. You're going to be shocked. Check this out. Watch this. I got Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey. I got Goddard. I think Goddard, is there a better tight end in the NFC right now than Dallas Goedert? Kittle hasn't played. He's better than the guy in, hey, he's better. He's better. Dude, that drop was terrible. It was. It does it. But every time he catches the ball, Goddard, man, he's impossible to get on the ground. I agree that catch or drop was terrible. Okay? It was terrible. But man, when he catches the ball, shit, he's a nightmare. He is a nightmare. He's a better runner with the football than Zach Ertz ever was. Ertz had better hands, but this guy blocks, and he's better after the catch. And I don't think it's close. I think Dallas Goedert's a Pro Bowler, man. So I got Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Goddard. A.J. Brown. Look at how many people you're going to have on the Pro Bowl team this year, potentially. This is the first 4 weeks. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Goddard, A.J. Brown. You got to put Miles Sanders on that list. He's been one of the best 3 running backs in the NFC in the first 4 months or first 4 games of the year. You've got to put Miles Sanders in there. How do you not put Miles Sanders when you're averaging 5 yards a carry and you're on pace for 1,500 yards? Really, the only other back in the NFC really that's making any kind of headway is Saquon Barkley in New York. You've got to. You got to put Jalen Hurts in the Pro Bowl. Look at how many players you got off your offense, off your 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 players off the offense alone. On defense, TJ Edwards is a bona fide Pro Bowler. I'll tell you something here. TJ Edwards, Slay's missed time the last 2 weeks, but I would still say this to you. Slay's going to get votes. Hey, I'm going to show you how I do things. You got to put Fletcher Cox in there. I think you got to put Fletcher Cox in there. Okay? So listen what I said to you. Offensively, I've got Hurts, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Goddard, A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders. On defense, TJ Edwards, Slay, and Fletcher Cox. That's what I would put because I think Fletcher's played well. I really do. Played well against the run, and he's been right there. 6, 7, you got 9 guys potentially that could make the Pro Bowl this year after the first 4 games. That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. I wouldn't put Bradbury in there right now. I don't think he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. I think he's playing well. Your best player on defense is your linebacker. It's not Darius Slay. He's missed a game and a half. Okay, he's missed like he's missed a game, I'd say. Not a game and a half, but a game. Okay, been out last week and this week. So I would say TJ Edwards has been your most consistent ball player. Darius Slay, I still would put in the Pro Bowl, but I would also put Fletcher Cox into that conversation too. That's a pretty good list. You got 9 guys that are playing really great ball right now. Okay. That's a pretty good start so far. And Fletcher's really been, I think Hardgrave is right there. Hey man, I'll tell you what too. Look at what you got that is coming up here too. Free agents, end of the year. Bradbury, Edwards, Fletcher, Hardgrave, Sayamalo, Sanders. You got 6 guys off a 4-0 football team that are all starters. 6 starters are going to be free agents at the end of this year. Bradbury, Edwards, Cox, Hardgrave, Sanders, and Sayamalu. You're going to pay all them guys? When you got a quarterback around the corner that you're going to pay, according to some of you guys, $46 million bucks? You really, who are you going to knock off that list? You think you're paying them all? Are you paying all those guys? With what? You got 2 ones coming up next year? That's a lot of guys to make decisions on. So what's your window, really? You think you're re-signing all these guys? CJ's on a 1-year deal. You got 7 dudes. You got 7 guys. And a $50 million decision. And a $25 million wide receiver. I don't think Will Anderson's going to be where the Eagles are. I think right now, I think some teams that lost over the weekend, I think they're in the 11 hole now. They've actually moved down, even with the Saints losing. They're in the 7 hole right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The Eagles are in the 3 hole now? Huh. Dude, the Eagles are in the 3 hole? Wow. Hey, Big Sills, if we win the chip, everybody gets signed. Really? Okay. Because that always happens. 3 hole? I thought we were at 3. Wow, 3 hole. That's insanity. That's insane, man. That's insane. Yeah, look, I think they've played well. By the way, top of the hour, we're going to take a look at where the Eagles fit in the NFC as well. It's actually 4th overall, just confirmed. Okay, 4th overall. I thought they were in 11. It must have been a preseason thing. Xander says it's 4th. Drew, it's 4th. Steichen, where are you here? Steichen and Gannon will be gone if we win the chip. Good. Not saying, but Gannon, good. Maybe you get somebody with some decent defensive background who's got more onions. I can't stand that guy. I don't think he's very creative, and I don't think he's good. I think I'm with Seth. Guy don't impress me. Isaac and Hardgrave will walk. So will Miles Sanders. Still's talking like this to Merrill or Rob, come on, then changes his tune. I don't change my tune ever. If they have a different opinion than me, why should I argue with them? Just to hear myself and try to make my point? I don't do that. If somebody's got a different opinion of me, I brought Michael Irvin on. He thinks the Eagles are building a dynasty. And I bring everyone on. Last week, every guy that was in Jacksonville has been impressed with Jalen. You don't know what you're talking about. You just listen to 5% of what Big Sil says. It's okay. I understand this. Okay, I understand this. Sanders will resign for what? $2 million? He makes $2.5 million now. What do you think you're going to sign a guy for if he ends up going through the tape at 1,500 yards? 3? You think Howie's going to spend $6 million on Miles Sanders? You think he's going to put $6 million on Miles Sanders? There's a better chance of paying Jalen $40 million than paying Miles Sanders $6 million. You're out of your mind. He's right now on pace for 15-13 at 5 yards a carry. Dude, I'll tell you what team would really love to have that guy. You know what team would really love to have a guy like that? Baltimore. Baltimore would love to have a guy like that. Miles Sanders running the ball. Okay? I'm happy we have Jurgens and Driscoll. I thought they played well when they came in. I'll tell you, that's another great thing about the Eagles, man. Their depth on O-line is fabulous. It's fabulous. Hey, the Cowboys would love to have Miles Sanders. Dak Prescott would love to have. Oh, my God, wouldn't that be wild? Watching Miles Sanders go to the Cowboys? Woo! Jerry will pay him. Okay? Someone goes, I could run. Hey, Nell goes, Sills, I could run behind that line. I could run behind that line. Dude, Sanders was he's my favorite. He's my favorite offensive player on the Eagles. I mean, him and Kelsey. I love those two. I love Mulata too, and I like Lane. But I love Miles Sanders. Dude, he's, I do. What were you saying about number 7, says Dupree? What I'm saying about him is I was really glad that he didn't miss the bus this week and that he got on the bus. It was really great. Okay? I was really glad that he didn't miss the bus because the last couple of weeks he's been missing the bus. I was happy that he got on the bus. It was really great to see that he got on the bus. Yeah, congratulations. Way to go, Hassan. You made the bus. How about A.J. Brown coming out too and having to quantify why he didn't make that tackle? I happen to agree with Seth. Sometimes you get caught in no man's land out there, and it happens so fast like that. Seth's right. I don't think he didn't want to hit him, and I don't think it was a business decision. I just think he got caught in the middle. Okay? Yeah. Hey, man, way to go. Hey, Hassan, way to go. You showed up. Wow. You earned some of your money. Yeah. Yeah. Man. Hey, congratulations for doing your job. Huh. Wow, I wish I got pats on the back. Every time I ask Xander for that, he goes, what do you want, a cookie? Oh, I see. Hassan gets praise in the Kool-Aid drinks from Xander and all of you guys. Big Sills, I can't even get a cookie. Reddick drove the bus. About time, man. He's missed it the last 3 weeks. He's got 3.5 sacks. Dude, did you see what the Cowboys did to Carson Wentz this past weekend? That old line in Washington's terrible. Hey, you want to get great stats? Play Washington. How can you expect Reddick to get 20 sacks when you have this many? Let's see. Reddick drove the bus. Sills doesn't follow statistics or injury reports. I'm hoping Reddick keeps balling. Hoping? You're hoping that Reddick keeps balling. I hate the word hope. Hope? I like the word yes, I know, and he is. I like those words. Not, man, I hope he plays and continues to play well. See, when you talk about Brady, there's no hope. Or Rodgers, or Mahomes, there's no hope. Hey, I hope he plays well. You think you've ever said that about Patrick Mahomes? I hope Jalen continues his effort and plays well the next 4 games. You're still saying that about Hurts, right? You don't say that about Mahomes and Allen. and Lamar. The only thing you say about Lamar is, I hope he don't get hurt. Same thing with Allen. Same thing with Brady. You don't use the word hope with Tom Brady. Hey, man, I hope this guy plays well. Shit. Oh, God. Hey, I hope he plays great. Oh, man. Don't give me them words. I hope the Eagles continue this. I hope this guy. Hey, the one thing you don't have to worry about is your injuries in your O-line. That Eagle team can sustain it, man. They can. They can sustain it. We're becoming that team? Yeah. Yeah. All right. I got to take a break. I want to take a time out here. I'm going to look at some of these NFC teams. And you tell me where you think. Okay? Actually, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to compare the NFC. I'm going to compare the NFC's only undefeated team to teams in the AFC. And then you tell me what you think. If you could beat those teams. Why don't we do that? You keep comparing them to the NFC. Granted, you have to win it to get to the game. But let's take a look at some of those teams that are in the AFC. We'll do that. Don't forget our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free, meaning this. If you're hurt or injured on the job, okay, don't think that they're going to get paid and you don't. If you don't get paid, they don't. That's how it works at Morgan & Morgan. They're the biggest law firm in the country, and they defend every single person that signs up with Morgan & Morgan. For the past 30 years, that number's $13.5 billion. They're the biggest law firm, as I said, in the country, and for the people's not a slogan. With over 800 attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida, Morgan & Morgan is there for you to do battle for you each and every single day. There's no such thing as a fender bender. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. Hey, the call is free. The consultation's free. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually, and we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.